Which brand offers the most different electric passenger car models in Australia today? If you guessed Mercedes-Benz, well done. And this is the 8th and latest, the EQE SUV. It's got loads of tech and it costs heaps of money. Has number 8 been worth the wait? Let's check it out and find out. The EQE SUV is the latest model to spring from Benz's bespoke EVA2 electric car platform, following on from the EQE and EQS sedans and the EQS SUV. If you're trying to figure out where these newfangled EVs are positioned in the Benz lineup, then we'll break it down for you. EQ denotes electric, while the third letter explains the segment. In this case, E means it's the equivalent of the large GLE SUV. There are 4 EQE SUVs in the Aussie launch lineup. The 300 is the cheapest and the only one that's single motor rear-wheel drive. The EQE 300 SUV is roughly the same price as the entry-level GLE 300D, but has more comfort and luxury equipment. But the GLE is diesel, all-wheel drive and has the option of 7 seats. So very different strokes for different folks. More likely EQE rivals include the BMW iX, the Audi Q8 e-tron and Jaguar I-Pace. It's no surprise that with the least power and torque of any EQE SUV, the 300 is the slowest, accelerating from rest to 100 kilometres an hour, reaching that mark at least a second slower than any other member of the range in a pretty cruisy 7.3 seconds. But the upside is the EQE 300 SUV has the equal best range between recharges of any model. It also has the equal best consumption, and like all the EQE SUVs can charge it up to 170 kilowatts DC. Those are all competitive numbers. Get in the EQE 300 SUV and it's like getting into a deep and very comfy bucket. You sit deep inside this car. It's also a very high-tech place to be. You've got the big OLED touchscreen over here on the dash, and in front of the driver a configurable digital instrument panel. Rolling on a 3030mm wheelbase, it's no surprise the EQE 300 SUV offers sprawling space for adults in the rear seat. There's also some neat touches here like the rear aircon vents and the flip-out USB-C points. There's at least 520 litres of space in the boot of the EQE 300 SUV, which expands to 1675 litres if you fold the rear seats. All right, time to close the tailgate, get in the driver's seat and see what the EQE 300 SUV delivers on the road. The first thing you've got to do when you get in the EQE 300 SUV is find yourself a comfortable driving position. It's quite unusual in the way you sit so deep within the car, and it's something accentuated by the slabby dashboard. You quickly realise the 0 to 100 claim doesn't really do the EQE 300 SUV justice. It's got that typical EV tip-in throttle response, made even more urgent if you stick the powertrain in sport mode. The EQE 300 SUV has its really heavy battery pack slung low in the chassis, which means it's got a very low centre of gravity as well. And that means it's got a flat cornering stance and really good body control. Most SUVs, by contrast, are pretty wobbly and sway around a lot in corners. Align that low centre of gravity with taut suspension and light and accurate steering, and the EQE 300 SUV feels more nimble and manoeuvrable than you'd think a vehicle that weighs 2.385 tonnes should be. In the wet conditions we're driving the EQE 300 SUV, it's been the braking that's been the main downside in the driving experience. On wet and rough surfaces, it's tended to release the brake momentarily when braking hard, The EQE 300 SUV looks like a people mover, is classified as an SUV and drives like a passenger car with sporting pretensions. So yeah, we rate Benz EV number 8, but it's also priced like a Mercedes, and that means it's priced at a luxury level, and that's going to define the level of interest the EQE 300 SUV is gonna attract.